Joining me now is Market Rebellion co-founder Jon Najarian. And Jon, one of the things I was looking at in your notes is the energy sector. And you mentioned NATO in this robust response. You're going to want to hear this then. We just got some comments on Truth Social from President Trump. He just finished up that bilateral meeting with President Zelensky. And he basically said Ukraine can win back all territory lost to Russia. We're going to continue, the U.S., to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. That was just moments ago from President Trump.
Yeah, well, the issue here is that Russia's been very close to a number of NATO countries, most particularly Poland right now, when they're doing some of their bombing. And or when they have their jets flying into NATO airspace. So that's been one of the things, Cheryl, that has caused the prices to lift in the energy space, because obviously an even larger conflict with Russia and perhaps even members of NATO would mean crude oil prices would likely go significantly higher. So we saw Halliburton get an immediate reaction from that because their oil field services and so forth, so that you'd have to develop a lot more energy here, for instance. But I'd also watch Schlumberger, SLB, along with that Halliburton, HAL, if we continue to hear rhetoric and see this sort of thing playing out in Eurasia or Europe in general.
You also, one of your other picks, and this is a news-making stock, and this is Disney. Obviously, we're on the heels of the news breaking yesterday that Jimmy Kimmel is going to go back live on the air tonight. We'll see what he has to say, whether or not he apologizes. There's some reporting out there that he doesn't plan to. We'll see what his monologue to say. But, you know, this has been a hit for Disney. And his contract is up in May of next year. You know, there's a lot of question marks about late-night television, that drag on the company. And then you've also got the issue of the consumer with Disney, whether it's the parks or whether it's the streaming business. Do you still like Disney as a pick, and would you buy it at these levels? It's a 112 right now.
I would not. I think it goes lower still, and I don't think it tests back down into the 80s where it came from on this most recent bounce, but it is down some $8 billion since Mr. Kimmel made that lie that he told about the shooter being MAGA and so forth. Basically, Disney pulled him off the air because Sinclair and Nexstar said they weren't going to carry it. Well, they've gone back to saying we're still not going to carry it, and that takes another 30% of the available affiliates off the table for Disney and for the Jimmy Kimmel Show. So this is not something that's going to end well, at least unless we get some sort of apology that seems sincere. People are going to turn off that show, and it doesn't matter what FCC Chair Carr does. It's more what his employer does. And I don't think they can take too much more pain. Just like Colbert, this show is losing money. And if you've lost almost 5% since September 16th, I think it's really difficult to justify an $8.5 or $9 billion hit to your market cap for one show.
And that's hence why I think that contract negotiation that's going to be obviously underway in the spring, and then it's the end of that season, May of 2026, that's obviously another financial piece of this puzzle. And whether or not they even keep the show, I think that's a great point. You know, one of the things we've been seeing for September is obviously it's the AI trade, which has continued. But I'm curious if you think that that trade might be kind of topping out right now. I mean, we've got all the data center news. There's other ancillary plays when it comes to AI, whether it's the energy play, to your point earlier about overseas. You've also got the domestic energy story with the AI data centers. Nuclear could be an option here. Where do you think we go with those stocks, though? Do you think that they're still going to be hot?
I do. And you hit on nuclear, so you're exactly right, Cheryl. I mean, when you look at nanonuclear, symbol NNE, or SMR, or OKLO. OKLO is up from $94 a share. This is a small modular reactor, an SMR play. So what do? Think of basically if you put a nuclear sub, shrunk it down and put it on the back of a semi. These are nukes that basically can fit on the back of a semi, and they could provide enough power for small cities or for data centers and so forth. And believe me, the orders from the data centers are huge for all of those stocks that I just named.
Yeah,
so you're exactly on the right track here. We're going to see nuclear be a substantial winner because of this. And that stock, by the way, traded from 94 end of August to now, I think today I saw it at 142. That's not a lot of days for it to get that much market cap, but that's what we're seeing in the space.
And you know, we're hearing that for the administration in particular about nuclear. And look, the French have been monopolizing the nuclear power. I mean, they really kind of led the world, and they've done it safely and securely and cleanly. There's so many answers in nuclear. Yep. I've brought that up so many times. Jon, it's always great to speak with you. Thanks so much for joining me. It's good to see you, sir.